Hello, welcome to Everyday English in Canada. Here you will find stories, tips, and everyday phrases that will help you improve your English and prepare you to live incredible experiences in Canada. Before starting, like this video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any content. Also, take the opportunity to comment below what your biggest challenge with English is and share this video with your friends who also dream of studying or living in Canada. Now, let's go on this journey together and discover how small phrases and habits can transform your life in Canada. The decision to change your life. The room was quiet on that cloudy morning. The distant sound of cars mixed with the singing of some birds that still resisted the concrete of the big city. Sitting on the edge of the bed, with a notebook full of notes and plans, was Anna, a 21-year-old who felt within herself an urgency that she could no longer ignore, to change her life. Anna lived in the countryside of Minas Gerais, in a small town where everyone knew each other. The daughter of a seamstress and a bricklayer, she always had a simple life, but she carried with her a dream that seemed too big for the place where she was born. Since she was a girl, by watching movies, listening to international music, and watching videos on the internet, she nurtured the desire to learn English. However, fear, lack of opportunity, and routine have always kept her away from this path. Until one day, browsing the internet, she found the call for a student exchange program in Canada. The scholarship did not cover everything, but it offered a great chance to study abroad for 2 years. His heart raced. At the same time that the excitement exploded inside her, a voice whispered softly, "What if you can't? What if I don't understand anything? What if it's too hard?" Even so, she did not hesitate. He took out his cell phone and called his mother, who was at work. "Mom, I found something that can change my life," he said, his voice trembling. On the other end of the line, the mother was silent for a few seconds. Then he replied, "My daughter, if that's what you want, go. We find a way." And that's how Anna decided to sign up. The weight of decision. During the following days, anxiety took over. She ran after documents, studied the requirements, did the math on how much she would need to save. Money would be tight, but the opportunity seemed unique. Deep down, what worried her most was not money. It wasn't the documents. It was English. Anna had studied the basics in school, but had never really practiced. His pronunciation was timid, his vocabulary limited. In her mind, the idea echoed that it would be impossible to get by in another country without mastering the language. But at the same time, something inside her said, "You're going to learn by doing. You're going to make it." So, to prepare, he started creating small daily habits. She watched videos on YouTube, listened to short podcasts in English, and, above all, began to write down basic phrases that could help her in everyday situations in Canada. The first ones he wrote in his notebook were, "Hello, how are you? Excuse me? Excuse me? I don't understand. I don't understand. Can you repeat, please? How much is this? How much does it cost? Where's the bathroom? I need help. Thank you. Sorry. Sorry, my name is Anna," she repeated. These phrases aloud every day, sometimes in front of the mirror, sometimes while doing the dishes. At first it sounded strange, as if it were unnatural, but little by little he gained confidence. The farewell. The day of the trip arrived faster than she imagined. The airport seemed like a world apart. People speaking different languages, running from one place to another, screens announcing flights to countries she only knew from school maps. When she hugged her mother before boarding, Anna felt a lump in her throat. "It will work out, daughter. Don't forget that you are strong," said the mother, holding her hand firmly. Anna smiled, but her teary eyes gave away the whirlwind of emotions. He got on the plane and, as he sat in the seat, took a deep breath. It would be many hours of flight to Toronto, but every minute brought her closer to a new chapter of life. As the plane took off, he looked out the window and thought, "I'm going to make it. Even if it's hard, I'll learn. This is my chance." The first contact. Upon arriving in Toronto, reality hit hard. The warnings at the airport were all in English, people spoke fast, and Anna felt butterflies in her stomach. When an immigration official called her, she took a deep breath and tried to remember the phrases she had memorized. "Hello, my name is Anna," she said, a little nervously. The agent smiled, asked for the documents, and asked a few simple questions. Anna didn't understand everything, but when she heard something like "purpose of visit," she remembered what she had practiced and replied, "I am here to study." The agent stamped her passport and wished, "Good luck." It was just the beginning, but that small victory gave Anna a sense of hope. Later that night, in the small room of the student residence that was waiting for her, Anna wrote in her diary, "Today, I realize that I don't need to know everything to get started. I just need to take the first step, use the phrases I know, not be afraid to make mistakes. English will come gradually, with patience and practice." She smiled as she reread what she wrote. Fear was still there, but now it was accompanied by courage. Just like Anna, you can also start transforming your life with small habits. Learning 10 basic phrases may seem little, but it can open doors, create connections, and change your future. Don't wait to be perfect to start. Start now with what you have. Arrival in Canada. The alarm clock rang at 6 in the morning. Anna opened, her eyes slowly, feeling the strangeness of the new room. The ceiling was white, unlike his house in Brazil, and a window let in the cold light of the Canadian city. The silence was heavy, only interrupted by the distant sound of cars and the noise of someone walking in the hallway of the student residence. For a moment, she wanted to believe that she was still home, that she could hear her mother banging, pots in the kitchen, the smell of fresh coffee invading the room. But no. Now it was real. She was in Toronto. His heart raced. The dream that seemed so far away had come true. But along with the emotion also came fear. Will I be able to get by here? Will I understand people? Anna got up, took a quick shower, and got ready for the first appointment of the day, the orientation for international students in college. The first challenge. Breakfast before leaving, he decided to stop by a nearby coffee shop. The cold cut his face as he walked. The streets were wide, the buildings tall, and everything seemed both fascinating and intimidating. As she entered the cafeteria, the smell of fresh coffee and baked bread enveloped her. A small line formed, and Anna took a deep breath, trying to remember the phrases she had memorized. When it was her turn, the attendant smiled and asked quickly, "Good morning. What can I get for you?" Anna froze for a second. The Englishman seemed too fast, but she mentally repeated, "Calm down. Use the phrases you know. Good morning. Coffee, please," he said with a shy smile. "Sure. Small, medium, or large?" She didn't understand at first. The attendant pointed to the glasses behind the counter. Then Anna realized. Sizes. He pointed to the midfielder. Medium, please. Anything else? Anna hesitated, but remembered the bread she saw on the counter. He pointed and said, This one, please. Perfect. That'll be $5. Anna handed over the money, received the coffee and bread, and breathed a sigh of relief. A simple situation, but one that seemed like a great achievement for her. As he sat down to drink his coffee, he wrote on his cell phone, First victory. I was able to order a coffee in English. The first day at college, when she arrived at the college, the imposing building made her feel small. The entrance was packed with students from all over the world. Different languages mixed, but English dominated the corridors. In the auditorium, a tall professor in a dark suit welcomed them. Welcome, international students. We are happy to have you here. Anna understood only the welcome and students. Even so, he clapped along with the others. During the presentation, several important information were passed on. Class schedules, rules, libraries, laboratories. Anna tried to keep up, but the feeling of being lost invaded her. He took the notebook and wrote down a few words he recognized. Schedule, library, help desk. At the end, an employee distributed leaflets with everything explained. Anna smiled, relieved. The first friend. On the way out, Anna bumped into a smiling girl with curly hair and bright eyes. Hi, are you new too? The girl asked. It took Anna a second to understand, but replied, Yes. I am new. My name is Anna. Nice to meet you, Anna. I'm Sophia. I'm from Colombia. Anna smiled. He felt his heart warm. Finally, someone who seemed to be in the same situation as her. The two began to talk, mixing basic English with gestures and even a few words in Spanish. Sophia said that she also had difficulties in English, but was determined to learn. They decided to explore the city together over the weekend. Small habits, big steps. That night in the bedroom, Anna reflected on the day. She remembered how lost she felt during the performance, but she also remembered the small victory at the coffee shop and the new friendship she had made. He took the notebook and wrote, Today, I realize that learning English is like learning to live again. It's making mistakes, repeating, practicing, making an effort. I don't need to be ashamed. I just need to keep going. Each sentence I learn is an extra step. She went back to her 10 basic phrases and added a few new ones she heard during the day. What can I get for you? What will you want? Small, medium, or large? I'm new here. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. He repeated each one loudly, calmly, until he felt more confident. The fear of loneliness. In the following days, Anna faced new challenges. Entering the supermarket and not understanding the labels, asking for information and not capturing the answers. Feeling mentally tired all the time from trying to decipher every word. Sometimes she cried hidden in her room, missing her mother and the simplicity of speaking Portuguese effortlessly. The fear of loneliness was real, but through tears she remembered the promise she made to herself. I didn't come here to give up. It was precisely at these moments that she watched short videos in English on her cell phone, practiced the phrases, learned and wrote in her diary. She understood that the secret was in the small daily habits. Repeat, make mistakes, repeat again. The first official class. The day of the first official class at the college finally arrived. The professor spoke, fast, using technical terms. Anna could understand only parts of the sentences. At first, despair took over. But as she looked around, she realized that she was not alone. Other students were also taking notes nonstop. Frowning. When the class ended, she took a deep breath and had the courage to approach the teacher. "Excuse me, teacher, I don't understand everything. Can you repeat, please?" The teacher smiled and said slowly, "Of course, Anna. Don't worry, it's normal in the beginning. Step by step, you will understand more." Those words were like a hug. That night, he once again wrote in his diary, "English still scares me, but today I realized that I don't need to understand everything at once. I just need to put in a little effort every day. The simple phrases already help me survive, and one day they will help me live fully here." She closed the diary with a smile. For the first time since he arrived, he felt that he was exactly where he should be. Small habits that transform. Winter was approaching, and the streets of Toronto were already gaining that cold air that cut through the skin. For Anna, every day was still a challenge. But little by little, the feeling of fear began to turn into determination. She knew she couldn't learn English overnight, but she understood that small daily habits would make all the difference. Discovery of the library one morning, Anna decided to explore the college library. The building was huge, silent, full of concentrated students. Walking through the bookshelves, he found a section called English as a Second Language. There were colorful books with simple dialogues, vocabularies, and even CDs with pronunciation exercises. She picked up a book called Everyday English Phrases and sat down by the window. He opened to the first page and read in a low voice, "Good morning. How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you." It was simple, but powerful. He repeated it several times, feeling the sound of the words in his mouth. Next door, a group of students also practiced, repeating phrases with different accents. For the first time, Anna realized that she was not alone. There were many there in the same struggle. The habit of music. That night, when he arrived at the room, he put on his headphones and searched for a playlist called Learn English with Songs. The first songs were slow, easy to follow. Anna began to listen to one, repeating short passages and writing down words she did not know. She realized that singing helped her lose her fear of pronunciation. She didn't have to be perfect. I just needed to try. Gradually, the songs became part of her routine. On the bus, in the bedroom, even during walks in the cold. It was as if each verse taught by the melody was easier to memorize than loose phrases. On paper. Simple conversations. Big achievements. Over the weekend, Anna and Sophia went to a nearby supermarket. As they looked at the shelves, an elderly lady bumped into them and smiled. "Oh, sorry," said the lady. Anna took a deep breath and replied, "No problem." The lady continued, "Are you new here?" Anna remembered the phrase she had practiced. "Yes, I'm new here. I'm from Brazil." "Brazil? Beautiful country," said the excited lady. Sophia completed, introducing herself as well. The conversation lasted less than a minute, but when the lady left, Anna felt her heart explode with joy. "I did it, Sophia," he said, almost jumping. "I managed to talk." It was a simple phrase, but for Anna it represented a climbed mountain. The habit of series. Another important discovery happened when a college classmate suggested that Anna watch children's series in English. At first, she thought it was strange, but soon realized the value of it. The speeches were slower, with easy words and many repetitions. She watched with English subtitles, paused when she didn't understand, and jotted down new phrases. In a short time, he began to notice that the same expressions appeared several times in his daily life. Phrases like, "What's going on? What's going on? See you later. See you later, that's great. That's great." These expressions began to come out naturally in quick conversations with Sophia and even with college classmates. The mirror. Habit Anna also created a curious ritual, talking to herself in front of the mirror. Every day, after the shower, he looked at his own reflection and simulated dialogues. "Hello, my name is Anna. Nice to meet you. Where is the bus stop? Excuse me, can you help me?" At first it seemed silly, but this habit gave her the confidence to use the phrases on the street. When she needed to ask for information, she no longer felt paralyzed. It was as if he had already rehearsed the scene 1,000 times. The first real challenge one afternoon in college, the professor asked each student to introduce themselves in English to the class. Anna felt her heart race. His hands were sweating. She thought about giving up, but she took a deep breath and remembered the phrases she had repeated so many times in the mirror. When his turn came, he stood up and said, "Hello, everyone. My name is Anna. I am from Brazil. I am here to study and to improve my English. Thank you." There was a brief silence, followed by shy clapping. The teacher smiled and said, "Well done, Anna." She sat up with tears in her eyes, not because it had been perfect, but because it had been real. For the first time, she spoke English in front of so many people and was understood. The difficulties that persist. Despite the advances, Anna still faced barriers. Many times I didn't understand movies without subtitles. In the supermarket, I was lost with some labels. On the bus, sometimes he did not understand the driver's warnings. There was a day when she tried to ask for information on the street, a man responded too quickly, and she didn't understand anything. She was paralyzed, feeling ashamed. When she told Sophia, almost crying, she heard a phrase that marked her. "Anna, making mistakes is part of the process. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn." Those words were like a hug. The expanding phrases list Anna noticed that every week. Her list of phrases increased. In addition to the 10 basic ones, I had already learned 10 others that I used constantly. "No problem. See you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow. Can you help me?" "I'm learning English." "I'm learning English. Slowly, please. I'm lost. I like it. I like that. I don't know. I don't know. What time is it? What time is it? That's okay." All right. She carried the notebook everywhere and practiced whenever she could. That night, lying in bed, Anna looked at the ceiling and thought about everything she had experienced so far. Learning English is not about memorizing words. It's about living the language every day, in every song, in every series, in every short conversation with someone on the street. It's about not being afraid to make mistakes, because every mistake is one more step. My little habits are transforming me, and I know I'm on the right track. She closed her eyes with a smile. For the first time since he arrived, he felt not only surviving, but flourishing in a new country. You don't need miracle methods to learn English. The secret is in the small habits: singing songs, watching series, practicing in the mirror, repeating simple phrases every day. What seems little today, tomorrow will be your victory. New friendships and dramas. The weeks passed, and Toronto no longer seemed so scary to Anna. She still felt butterflies in her stomach every time she needed to speak English, but the days became lighter. Breakfast with a convoluted accent was already routine. The subway no longer looked like a maze, and even the cold was starting to be less of an enemy and more of a reminder that she was living something new. But life is not only made of achievements. As she adjusted, Anna began to realize that living in another country also meant facing loneliness, culture shocks, and unexpected conflicts. The expansion of the circle of friends in college, in addition to Sophia, Anna met other international colleagues. There was Michael from Mexico, always in a good mood and ready to help. Layla from India, who spoke English with a strong accent, but had immense patience in explaining things. And Chloe, a Canadian who liked to interact with foreign students. They formed a small group. They spent breaks together, exchanged experiences, and laughed at each other's English mistakes. One day over lunch, Michael said, "We all make mistakes, but mistakes are teachers." Anna wrote down that phrase in her notebook. He liked it so much that he wrote in Portuguese just below, "We all make mistakes, but mistakes are teachers." The first conflict, not everything, however, was harmony. In a group class, Anna was scheduled to be part of a work with Canadian students. Unlike their international friends, they spoke fast, slang-filled English and seemed impatient when Anna didn't understand. "Come on, it's simple," one of them said, rolling his eyes when Anna asked to repeat it. She felt her face burn. He wanted to disappear. After class, she cried in the bathroom, frustrated. "Am I not good enough? Are they right? I may never be able to speak like them." When she told Sophia, her friend was firm. "Anna, you didn't come here to be perfect. You came to learn. They need to understand this." Sophia's words were a relief. Anna realized that she couldn't let the insecurity of others define her progress. The invitation to the party. Few days later, Chloe invited her to a student party. Anna was divided. Part of her wanted to say no because she knew she would be surrounded by native speakers and would have difficulty following the conversations. But another part wanted to live the experience. He decided to accept. At the party, the loud music and quick conversations made her tense. People spoke slang that she had never heard. She felt lost once again, until a young man approached. "Hi, I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you." Anna took a deep breath. "Nice to meet you, too. I'm Anna. I'm from Brazil." "Oh, Brazil. Football, samba, beaches," he said, smiling. Anna laughed and replied, "Yes, and good food." The conversation was short, but Anna realized that she could connect. He didn't have to speak perfectly. I just had to try. The drama of longing. Despite the new friends and experiences, the nostalgia for Brazil tightened. There were nights when Anna called her mother on her cell phone and cried when she heard her voice. I missed the homemade food, the hugs, the easy conversations in Portuguese. On one of these nights, he wrote in his diary, "Nobody talks about how loneliness can hurt. It's as if the heart is divided. Half here, living the dream, half there, with whom I love. But I know that all of this has a purpose. I need to be strong." Chloe's help. One day after class, Chloe noticed that Anna was crestfallen and offered to help her with her English. "If you want, we can practice together. I can teach you common phrases Canadians use every day." Anna accepted on the spot. In the weekly meetings, Chloe taught helpful expressions. "How's it going?" "How are you?" "No worries." "Don't worry. Sounds good." "Sounds good. I'm in." "I'm in. Take care." Anna wrote everything down in her notebook and practiced it out loud. Gradually, she began to realize that she understood more conversations in the college hallway. The moment of courage. One of the biggest challenges came in a classroom presentation. Each group needed to present a theme in front of the class. Anna was nervous just thinking about it. But when it was his turn, he took a deep breath, remembered the phrases he had rehearsed, and spoke slowly. "Hello, my name is Anna. Today, we will talk about..." It wasn't perfect. She stuck in a few words, had to look to her colleagues for help, but he managed to finish. At the end, the professor said, "Good job, Anna. You are improving a lot." She almost cried with emotion. That evening, on her way home, Anne wrote in her diary, "True, friendships help us grow, but there are also people who will test us. Learning English isn't just about words. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable, to face criticism, and to keep going anyway. Today, I realize that every difficult situation is an opportunity to become stronger." In the learning journey, you will find support and also challenges. You will feel alone, insecure, and even think about giving up. But remember, every mistake is a teacher, and every victory, no matter how small, is a huge step towards your transformation. Personal and academic growth. The months passed, and winter gave way to a timid spring. The trees, once bare and gray, now showed green leaves and delicate flowers. For Anna, that change of season seemed to symbolize her inner transformation as well. She was no longer the same frightened girl who landed in Toronto without knowing how to order a proper coffee. Flowing English, Anna's English was not yet perfect, but now it flowed more naturally. She was already able to order food in restaurants without hesitation, talk to classmates about college assignments, and even play in English with Sophia and Michael. One day, in the cafeteria, she noticed something surprising. She was able to follow almost all the conversation of a group of Canadians at the next table. He didn't understand everything, but he caught enough to laugh when they told a joke. "I'm beginning to understand the language not only with my mind, but with my heart," he thought. The challenge of group work. The time has come for a new group work. Once again, Anna had to team up with Canadian students. The memory of the previous conflict still haunted her, but this time she decided to face it differently. At the very first meeting, he said firmly, "I'm still learning English, but I want to participate. Please, speak slowly." His colleagues were surprised. One of them replied, smiling, "Of course, Anna, don't worry. We'll work together." Anna's posture made all the difference. She didn't hide behind fear, but presented herself as someone who was trying. The group respected her, and little by little she was able to contribute ideas. On the day of the presentation, the result was a success. The teacher praised the group, and one of the colleagues commented, "Anna, you did really well. You explained clearly. It was like winning a medal." The first volunteer. Work to practice her English more and feel useful, Anna decided to sign up for a volunteer program at the community library. There, she helped children choose books, organized bookshelves, and participated in educational activities. In the beginning, the challenge was to understand the children, who spoke fast and sometimes mixed slang. But with patience, she learned to communicate. One day, a little girl pointed at her and said, "You are very nice." Anna smiled emotionally. That simple compliment showed that, in addition to learning English, she was managing to create true connections. Overcoming shame. Before, Anna was afraid of making mistakes in front of others. Now, He began to realize that mistakes were actually learning opportunities. During a class, when trying to explain an idea, he used a wrong word. The room laughed, but not maliciously. The teacher corrected her, and she replied, smiling, "Thank you, teacher. I'm learning." The laughter turned into applause. It was proof that shame no longer had the same power over her. The new vocabulary of life, in addition to the basic phrases she already knew, Anna began to master more advanced expressions that helped her in her academic day-to-day. "In my opinion, I agree with you. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's work together. Can you explain it again?" These phrases were like tools that made her feel more independent. The first voyage with Sophia, Michael, and Layla, Anna decided to take a short trip to Niagara Falls. The landscape was impressive, the force of the waters falling, the mist rising, the tourists taking pictures non-stop. For Anna, that moment represented more than tourism. It represented freedom. She was there, in a foreign country, speaking a language that once seemed impossible, building memories that she would carry forever. On the way back, on the bus, she wrote in her diary, "If I had given up in the first few days, I would never have experienced this. Every tear, every mistake, every difficulty was worth it. English is not just a language. It's a key that opens doors to the world." The recognition in college, Anna began to be noticed by her teachers. His dedication and progress drew attention. One of them called her after class and said, "Anna, I can see how much you are improving. Keep working hard. You have a bright future here." Those words filled his heart with hope. The dream coming true. At night, lying in her bed, Anna looked at the notebook where she had written, months ago, the 10 basic survival phrases. Smiled. They seemed so small now, but they were the ones who sustained her in the early days. Now, his sentences were already forming paragraphs, his conversations already had emotion, and his life was already transforming. She understood that she was no longer just a student lost in a foreign country. She was a growing young woman, paving the way for a bright future. English is teaching me more than words. It is teaching me resilience, courage, and patience. Today, I know that every little habit built the person I'm becoming, and I know there's still a lot to do. When you start, it can seem impossible. But with small daily habits, you grow without realizing it. One day, he looks back and sees that what was once impossible is now part of his life. Don't give up. Go on. The world awaits you. Inspiring conclusion. Summer has arrived in Toronto. The streets, once gray and covered with snow, were now full of life. People walked bicycles, children played in parks, and cafes set up tables on the sidewalk to enjoy the long, sunny days. For Anna, that change of season also symbolized a cycle that was closing. He had gone through months of challenges, hidden tears, small victories, and huge achievements. And now, I looked back and almost couldn't believe how much I had grown. The great test in college, the time had come for the final presentation test in English. Each student had to prepare a complete paper and present it in front of the class and teachers. When she received the news, Anna felt her heart race. The memory of the first time she had to perform, shy, afraid of making mistakes, came back strongly. But then she took a deep breath and said to herself, "I'm not the same anymore. I prepared myself for it." For weeks, he rehearsed every day. He wrote the speech, practiced in front of the mirror, asked Chloe for help to correct the pronunciation, and even recorded audios to hear his own voice. On the day of the performance, he entered the room with butterflies in his stomach, but also with a confidence he had never felt. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna, and today I'm going to talk about how small habits can change your life. As he spoke, he realized that he was not just fulfilling a task, he was telling his own story. She talked about how learning simple phrases helped her in the early days, about how small habits, songs, series, short conversations, transformed her learning, and how making mistakes went from being a reason for shame to becoming part of the process. When he finished, the whole room applauded. The teacher stood up and said, "Excellent work, Anna. You are the perfect example of progress and resilience." She left the room with tears in her eyes. The recognition. A few weeks later, she received an email from the faculty's coordination. His name was among those chosen to represent international students at an event on education. It was an honor she would never have imagined at the beginning of the journey. At that event, in front of teachers, students, and guests, Anna told her story, from the insecure girl who barely knew how to order a coffee to the student who now spoke in public, confident, and he ended his speech with a phrase he had learned from Michael. "Mistakes are teachers, and I learned a lot with them." The applause rang out, and Anna felt that she had achieved something much greater than she expected. The expanding dream over time, opportunities began to arise. An internship at a local company, new invitations to college projects, and even the possibility of extending your studies in Canada. Anna no longer saw English as an obstacle, but as a bridge that connected her to people, places, and dreams. She knew there was still a lot to learn, but she also knew she already had the most important tool, the confidence she was capable of. The last encounter in the park. One summer afternoon, Anna, Sophia, Michael, and Layla met in a park for a picnic. Sitting on the grass, they remembered the first days, the difficulties and fears. "Remember when you couldn't order coffee?" Sophia joked, laughing. "And you, who got lost in the subway in the first week?" Anna replied, laughing. The laughter mixed, with the noise of children running and the distant sound of street musicians. It was a simple moment, but full of meaning. They were no longer just frightened international students. They were survivors. They were conquerors of dreams. The letter to herself. That night, Anna wrote a letter to the Anna of the past, the frightened young woman who was still in Brazil, afraid of not being able to do it. "Dear Anna, you're going to cry a lot. You will feel fear, shame, and loneliness. You will think about giving up. But if you keep going, you'll discover a strength within you that you never thought you had. The small habits that seem insignificant today will change your life. Basic phrases will become conversations. Conversations will become friendships. And friendships will become opportunities. Trust the process. You will make it. With love, the Anna of the future." When he finished, he closed the notebook with a smile and felt his heart light. Anna realized that her journey in Canada wasn't just about studying or learning English. It was about transformation. The language was the gateway, but what she achieved was much greater. Courage, self-confidence, new perspectives. She understood that everyone who embarks on this journey carries doubts and fears, but also carries within themselves the ability to overcome. Inspirational message for the video. Closing. If you also dream of changing your life, know that you don't have to wait to be perfect to start. Use small habits, repeat simple phrases, allow yourself to make mistakes, and learn from each step. English can be difficult, but every new word is a victory. Just like Anna, you can also transform your life. The first step is to believe that it is possible. And so we end Anna's story. A student who left Brazil full of insecurities, but who, through practice, courage, and small daily habits, built a new life in Canada. So, did you like this inspiring story? Remember, learning English is not about perfection, but about practicing every day, taking small steps, and never giving up on your dreams. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive the next content. Also, leave your comment below telling us which English phrase you are already practicing in your daily life. We'd love to know. And, of course, share this video with your friends who also want to improve their English and transform their lives in Canada. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next episode of Everyday English in Canada.